Jaipur.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Hamas vows to address obstacles in US-backed Gaza peace plan. The UN calls for ceasefire and hostage release. Syrian government and Kurdish-led forces reach ceasefire in Aleppo after deadly clashes escalate. 3 scientists, John Clark, Michel Devoret and John Martinez, win the 2025 Nobel Prize in Physics, awarded for work in quantum mechanics. A Hamas official has said on Tuesday that the group's delegation, now in talks in Egypt on a US plan to end the conflict in Gaza, is seeking to overcome all obstacles to achieving a settlement. Israel and Hamas have endorsed the overall principles behind Trump's plan, under which fighting would cease, hostages go free, and aid would pour in to Gaza. Even if a deal is clinched during talks in Egypt, questions will linger over who will rule Gaza and rebuild it. Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have ruled out any role for Hamas. Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson has said that Israel should have ceased operations in Gaza already, in line with US President Donald Trump's peace plan. Earlier, delegations from Israel and Hamas held their first day of indirect negotiations in Egypt on Monday on a US-drafted peace plan. As per reports, both parties have agreed on most of the first phase terms, which include the release of hostages and the establishing of a ceasefire. Both Hamas and Israel have responded positively to Trump's proposal by reaching an agreement on the details, and in fact, that is set to be a huge task. The plan envisages the disarmament of Hamas, which is a terrorist group, and it's unlikely to accept. Now, it also provides for the gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, but Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to redeploy troops deep inside the territory while securing the release of hostages. The US President Donald Trump said on Monday that he thought that there would be a Gaza deal soon. He spoke to reporters in the Oval Office and he said that tremendous progress on the issue has been made.
I think we're going to have it soon. I think we're going to have a deal. It's a hard thing for me to say that when for years and years they've been trying to have a deal with Gaza. But, literally for centuries, okay, if you really think about it. But we're going to have a Gaza deal, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well, marking 2 years since the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages held in Gaza and an end to hostilities in the region, describing the situation in Gaza as a humanitarian catastrophe beyond comprehension. Guterres urged both sides to halt the violence and to prioritize human life. Families held a moment of silence at the site of Israel's Nova Music Festival on Tuesday to remember the victims of the October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas. Dozens of relatives paid their respects at the site, which has since become a memorial, holding a minute's silence at 3:29 GMT to mark 2 years to the day after the attack. Israelis on the street hope for a deal to secure the release of the hostages. As of 251 hostages taken, 48 still remain in Gaza, 20 of whom are believed to be alive. The Syrian government forces and the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces agreed to a ceasefire in Aleppo after tensions between the two sides escalated into bombardments on the northern city. According to state media on Tuesday, at least one member of Syria's Democratic Security Forces and a civilian were killed on Monday in bombardments on Aleppo attributed to Kurdish forces. Tensions have heightened between Damascus and the semi-autonomous Kurdish administration in north and northeast Syria. Since the toppling of the former leader Bashar al-Assad in December, Aleppo has been ruled by Syria's new authorities. Sheikh Maqsood and Ashrafeh, however, remain controlled by Kurdish units linked to the SDF, the de facto army of the Kurdish administration. It also reported that a civilian was killed in the Kurdish bombardment. In Paris, leaders of France's left-wing parties met on Tuesday. They are trying to address the country's deepening political impasse. And speaking after the meeting, which took place at a city hotel, the key figures from the Greens, the France Unbowed, as well as the other leftist factions, they called for unity under a new popular front to challenge President Emmanuel Macron's leadership and to prevent a far-right surge.
On the points of agreement, particularly the fact that if we are in this situation today, it's because of Emmanuel Macron, who caused chaos by refusing to recognize the legitimacy of the election. That we had parliamentary elections potentially to work on together, and that this had to be done within the framework of the new Popular Front with those who were there this morning and those who were not there, and that we will do everything to ensure that this is the case with an ambitious program, the NFP program, to which perhaps we will have things to add, but to which we, for those who were present this morning, have nothing to take away.
Rien à enlever. Voilà.
The outgoing Prime Minister Lecornu's ministerial lineup had been fiercely criticized across the board by parties in the National Assembly, which threatened to vote it down. The nomination of the former Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire as the Minister of Armed Forces, in particular, seemed to be a sticking point for many political factions. For now, far-right and hard-left parties are urging Macron to call new snap parliamentary elections or to quit. The Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is going to be meeting the US President Donald Trump in Washington on Tuesday. The talks between these two leaders will focus on shared priorities for a new economic and security partnership. Canada has not yet reached a broad trade agreement with the United States' Trump administration, unlike other major US trading partners, which include the European Union. So far, Trump has maintained tariff exemptions on all goods compliant with an existing pact, the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. During the first term that he reached that agreement, the USMCA is known as the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. It's revision talks. This agreement, the revision talks, are scheduled for next year. And Carney has said that his team is focused on preserving a good deal for Canada, which also benefits the United States and Mexico. India has once again called out Pakistan for its delusional tirade against India, especially Jammu and Kashmir. Speaking during the open debate of women, peace and security, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, P. Harish, he highlighted how Pakistan conducted Operation Searchlight in 1971, sanctioning genocidal mass rape by its own army. He underscored how the world sees through Pakistan's propaganda and said that Pakistan distracts the world through hyperbole. The ambassador added that India...
Every year we are unfortunately fated to listen to the delusional tirade of Pakistan against my country, especially on Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian territory they covet. Our pioneering record on women, peace and security agenda is unblemished and unscathed. A country that bombs its own people, conducts systematic genocide, can only attempt to distract the world with misdirection and hyperbole. This is a country that conducted Operation Searchlight in 1971 and sanctioned a systematic campaign of genocidal mass rape of 400,000 women citizens by its own army. The world sees through Pakistan's propaganda.
And the ambassador added that India is ready to share its expertise on women, peace and security with the world for dealing with challenges.
As we look ahead, India remains unwavering in its commitment to the women, peace, and security agenda. We stand ready to share our expertise with partners, particularly those in the global south, fostering collective solutions to shared challenges.
Scientists John Clark, Michel Devoret and John Martinez, they have been awarded the 2025 Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of microscopic quantum mechanical tunneling and energy quantization in an electric circuit. The announcement was made by the Nobel jury on Tuesday. All three laureates are based in the United States. The Nobel Prize in Physics is awarded by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences and includes a prize of 11 million Swedish crowns. That's approximately 1.2 million US dollars. It is the second of 6 Nobel categories following physiology or medicine. The chemistry prize will be announced next. Let's take a look at other news making news around the world. And hundreds of families in Mogadishu, they have been left homeless following government-led demolitions in districts like Hodin and Dainil. The residents say that they were evicted without warning, with some claiming that they were asked to pay large sums to legalize their land. The evictions have triggered protests. They've also raised concerns about corruption, poor urban planning and disregard for legal ownership. One hiker has died and hundreds were rescued after sudden heavy snowfall hit China's Tibetan plateau and areas near Mount Everest over the weekend. Images from the Tibetan Fire Department, they show rescue teams evacuating stranded hikers in Karma Valley, Tibet Autonomous Region. And, well, the extreme weather caught many off guard, prompting a large-scale emergency response. Crew and researchers aboard the UK's polar research ship RRS Sir David Attenborough are preparing for a mission to Antarctica next week. The state-of-the-art vessel, named after the renowned naturalist Sir David Attenborough, is equipped with advanced polar technology. Still to come here on DD India Live. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses gratitude to the people of India as he enters the 25th year of serving as a head of government. And despite global uncertainties, India's exports rise 5.19% from April to August 2025. The growth outpaces the global trends at 7.1%. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. Prime Minister Narendra Modi enters the 25th year in public office on October 7, a journey that began in 2001 as Gujarat's Chief Minister, from crisis management to national leadership to a global statesman. His tenure has been defined by transformative reforms, welfare schemes, strategic international alliances, and a governance model that has scaled from state success to nationwide impact. Here's a report.
On October 7th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi entered his 25th year in public office. The journey began when he took over as the Chief Minister of Gujarat on October 7th, 2001, a milestone that underscores a long arc of political and administrative evolution from state to national and even global leadership. PM Modi's state-level career began amid challenge and upheaval. Narendra Modi became Gujarat's youngest chief minister on October 7, 2001, at the age of 51. He took charge in the wake of the devastating Bhuj earthquake and inherited a state grappling with infrastructure deficits and governance gaps. Over the next 13 years, he served 4 terms as chief minister, laying the groundwork for what came to be known as the Gujarat model of growth and development. Under his leadership, Gujarat saw expansion in water and infrastructure projects, power sector reforms, and industrial investments. Administrative innovations and social schemes such as Kanya Kelavani Yatra to promote girls' education were launched, which later found echoes on the national stage. In 2014, BJP's national leadership nominated the then Gujarat Chief Minister as its prime ministerial candidate, and following a sweeping electoral mandate, PM Modi assumed the office. Over 3 terms, Prime Minister Narendra Modi led India on a new glide path of growth and transformation with his signature governance principles to the national canvas. One of the more discussed legacies is PM Modi's long standing advocacy for girls' education and gender equality. During his chief ministership in Gujarat, he initiated the Beti Bachao campaign to combat female feticide and promote schooling for girls, especially in districts with low female enrollment. When the central government launched Beti Bachao Beti Padhao on January 22, 2015, it institutionalized many of those principles at scale. Over 2 decades, the public record portrays PM Modi's journey as one of continuity and scaling, from laying the foundation of a resilient Indian economy, managing drought, disaster recovery, and state reforms, to running ambitious national welfare, infrastructure, and social equity programs. His dynamic leadership at the global level also raised the diplomatic relations to strategic levels and cemented ties with key world leaders. While debates on policy impact, political style, and implementation challenges persist, entering the 25th year in active public leadership is a rare milestone in modern Indian politics. The narrative is still being written, and the trajectory from state to national leader to a global leader all underscore the continuity of PM Modi's political prowess. Antara Sinha for DD India.
In a major boost to India's railway infrastructure, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved 4 multi-tracking railway projects worth 24,634 crore rupees. The announcement was made by the Union Minister for Railways, Information and Broadcasting, Ashwini Vaishnav, in New Delhi on Tuesday. These multi-tracking proposals are poised to streamline operations and alleviate congestion. The projects are planned on the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, with focus on enhancing multimodal connectivity and logistics efficiency through integrated planning and stakeholder consultations.
आज जो चारों प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, चारों की चारों इन कॉरिडोर्स को मिनिमम 4 लाइनिंग तक लाने का इसमें प्रयास है, और जहाँ पे ज़रूरत पड़े वहाँ पे 6 लाइनिंग भी करने का प्लान है। ये जो प्रोजेक्ट्स आज आए हैं, दिल्ली मुंबई वाले में रतलाम से बड़ौदा, मुंबई हावड़ा में भुसावल से वर्धा, दिल्ली चेन्नई में बीना से इटारसी, और मुंबई कोलकाता में गोंदिया से डोंगरगढ़। ये 4 ऐसे सेक्शंस हैं जिन सेक्शंस के लिए क्वाड्रुपलिंग का आज इसमें अप्रूवल हुआ है।
India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal met Qatar's Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani in Doha on Tuesday. They discussed ways to strengthen economic and strategic cooperation between the two countries. The talks focused on expanding trade and investment opportunities, enhancing energy collaboration, and identifying new avenues of partnership. India and the United Kingdom are strengthening their maritime partnership as the bilateral exercise Konkan 2025, or Konkan 25 in fact, unfolds off India's western coast. Held from the 5th of October to the 12th of October, these exercises feature both harbour and sea phases. The frontline assets from both navies are taking part. The Indian Navy is led by INS Vikrant, while the the UK carrier Strike Group, joined by assets from Norway and Japan. These add further heft to this year's edition. The drills will test interoperability through anti-air, anti-surface and anti-submarine warfare exercises, underscoring the shared commitment to a free, open and secure Indo-Pacific. Following Konkan 25, the UK carrier Strike Group will hold a joint air exercise with the Indian Air Force on October 14th before continuing its deployment. The journey of Indian exports is a result of innovation with global integration. According to World Bank data, the world's export is growing at 2.5%, whereas India's export is growing at 7.1%, outpacing global growth, indicating the progress of the country on the international front. In August this year, India's exports registered a positive growth of 4.77% versus August of 2024. Exports increased by 5.19% to US dollars 346.10 billion in the April to August 2025 time frame in comparison to the same period last year. So merchandise exports in fact rose by 2.31% and services exports were up by around 8.65%, that is in the April to August period. And India's exports to Hong Kong, China, USA, Germany, Korea, UAE, Nepal, Belgium, Bangladesh and Brazil, the exports here have climbed the ladder as well of growth in the April to August 2025 period. In a landmark moment for India's aviation sector, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Navi Mumbai International Airport on Wednesday, ushering in a dual airport era for the bustling Mumbai metropolitan region. After years of anticipation, the airport promises to alleviate chronic congestion at the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport while positioning Mumbai alongside global hubs like London, New York and Dubai. Shishi Shela reports.
Country's financial capital, Mumbai, is going to get another important and the biggest airport, not in the country, but probably we can say in the Asia Pacific region. But how this particular Navi Mumbai International Airport will change a game? Prime Minister have actually laid the foundation stone of this particular airport, and now he is only inaugurated this airport. To get more information on this, right now we have with us CEO of Navi Mumbai International Airport, Captain Sharma. So first of all, congratulations that we've seen that one of the important and the biggest airport probably of the country that Prime Minister will be inaugurating. How important this particular project is for the region of, development of this entire region?
We will be the biggest going forward. Right now, we are starting with a 20 million and passenger, and when we saturate, our design will be 90 million, but probably we can handle even 100 million passengers. At that time, as of now, we will be the biggest, but we will be the biggest in the smallest space of 1160 hectares.
So we have two important projects nearby Mumbai, the port also and the airport also. As far as the cargo terminal handling is concerned, how you see the development going forward?
India is now making mark in cargo as well, and if we make most modern cargo terminal, the freighters would start coming. Envisaging that, we have put 11 specific freighter stands. So the large cargo freighters who bring 100 tons and more would come. And it's very natural that JNPT port is there, and the Virar corridor and Delhi corridors are coming on the east side. So there will be superb connectivity. Next is to connect them to the smart movement of vehicles, faster movement of cargo.
All right, thank you for talking to us. Well, that was Captain Sharma, who's actually giving all the details of how this Navi Mumbai International Airport will change the entire scenario in this region and will also boost economic activity as well. Shirshila for DD India, Mumbai.
Sports news now, and Lintoi Chanabam, she scripted history as she clinched India's first ever medal at the Judo Junior World Championships in Peru on Tuesday. The 19-year-old Indian clinched the bronze medal in the women's 63 kg event with a win over Netherlands' Joni Galian in Lima. The judoka from Manipur made her way into the medal match as well by a repertoire route, and this is the second age group World Championship medal for Chanabam, who also holds the distinction of being the first Indian judoka to be crowned the Cadet World Champion. That happened in 2022. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. Thank you very much for being with us. Namaskar.
This week on Defense Dynamics,